Home Depot is selling tiny home kits for under $50,000. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Home Depot has got into the tiny home market, and they are selling prefabricated tiny homes for under $50,000, and they're pretty damn cool too. They got some trick designs. You can even actually work with them to help design your tiny home. And believe it or not, you can actually get these permitted and put them in as a primary residence or as an ADU, which is an additional dwelling unit to your existing home. So pretty cool. These things are ranging anywhere from 80 square feet all the way up to 3,100 square feet. There's different price ranges that fits every budget you can think of. Now, there's a caveat to that. And I want to talk to you guys about that because I don't want you guys to go in thinking, hey, I'm going to go to Home Depot. They're going to put this full home together for me. I'm going to put it on a lot. And it's like a mobile home that I just plug in the plumbing, the electrical, and everything else. And it's just a signed, sealed, and delivered deal. In fact, it's the contrary. You get a finished residential dwelling with the framing, the finished facade, the roofing materials, and everything finished as far as doors, windows, interior doors, windows, and so forth and so on. But what it's missing is the actual components to make it habitable. Water, sewer, electric, and gas. There's differences of what you can do and you can put into these. You can go in, you can do a solar home where if there is no electrical where you're going, you can do solar panels. Gas is not a requirement if you have solar to be able to run everything 100% electric. Now, a septic system may be able to be utilized, but you have to check with your local municipality to see if the lot that you're actually putting the tiny home on will qualify for a septic system in that residential area. And then as far as water's a no-give. You have to have water to have a single-family dwelling here in America, right? So one of the big things is understanding what the lot price is and what it's going to cost to be able to get all of the utilities pulled in to that actual tiny home so that it's habitable. Now, you could do it where you set it up almost like a mobile home and set it up a little bit more informally. But if you really want to live in it and make it a single family dwelling, there are some utility factors that you need to take into consideration, but they're pretty cool. They're, in fact, some of the ones that Home Depot is doing right now is they have some spiral staircases that go up. They have some lookovers and some balcony areas. And so if views are your thing, you can actually do this with views. Now, one of the things that I like about these tiny homes is that you have the unique capability of designing them to fit your needs and fit your space. And when I looked into them, I thought that they were just going to be these standard size homes like Tough Sheds that you go in and they're already prefabricated. You were limited to what the size would be. You're limited to what the actual construction type would be, and you're limited to the actual design type. But they have the mid-century modern look with single-sided vaulted ceilings, the flat roof towers that are going in a lot of the mid-century homes. So they're actually really trick and really modern looking, and they fit the motif of what's trending right now in the construction industry. Now, one of the big things is this a solution to affordable housing? You know, depends on what you're getting your land for, depends on what you're getting utilities, if there's impact fees, and what you're actually setting these up for. Now, one thing that you have to be aware of, if those of you guys are wanting to go in and get these as a single family home and you're going to have a mortgage on them, banks will not lend on mobile and modular homes like they will on a single family residential dwelling. They're looked at as more like automobiles. So the lien has to be done with a title that could be moved just like an automobile, just like a car. And if you want a single family residential mortgage where you have a 30-year fixed mortgage or a 15-year fixed mortgage, you're going to have to be able to put that home on a permanent foundation. So for those of you guys that are going in and saying, you know what, I can buy this tiny home, if you're just going to put it on blocks in your backyard and you're going to put it where it's movable, no mortgage company will actually finance that home for you. It has to be attached, bolted, and anchored to a foundation, either stem walls or a concrete slab where it's actually anchored in place. Otherwise, no banking institution in the United States is going to finance that property for you, because they don't know if after they finance it, that home is going to be lifted off the lot and carried away on the back of a moving truck, and then they have nothing to collateralize. So it has to be on a permanent foundation. It has to be considered a permanent dwelling. Now, in most cases, when you get these homes, a lot of times they don't come with garages. That's the other caveat to these. A lot of times garages actually sit on a permanent foundation and they're actually poured on a monolithic slab, meaning that they don't sit on a stem wall with crawl space underneath them where they could actually be bolted to the stem wall. And because of that, you may have to be able to put in your own garage that's not included with these tiny homes from Home Depot if a garage is something that you desire. Now, one of the things that I like to talk about when we're talking about monolithic slabs, and I love this story because Ramez and I just actually did this over in Washington State just this last month. In fact, we were tearing down single family homes in Kirtland, Washington. We were buying homes that actually sat on permanent stem walls and foundations, and garages that sat on permanent monolithic slabs. And we were tearing these homes down that were built back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and we were buying it for the land because we could go in and we could buy a lot with a house on it for $800,000, where we couldn't find land otherwise in the Kirtland district. Now, when we did this, we were able to go in, level the house, tear it down, and we were able to build like 4 to 6 single family dwellings on the actual lot, which are called cottages in Kirtland, Washington. And so one home happened to be a fix and flip house that had all the bells and whistles. These guys went in, the exterior of it was still ugly, it was old, it was dated, but when you walked in that house, it had brand new floors, it had all the walls were redone, it looked like a mid-century modern home from the inside, had brand new appliances, granite countertops, and all the perks and whistles in it. And the caveat to that was the fact that we were going to have to tear it down to be able to put 6 single family dwellings on that lot. And so we rented and leased the house while we were getting permits, going through entitlements, and getting all of this stuff done. And one of the big things that ended up happening is we felt guilty tearing it down with all of what had been put into it. And so I talked to Remus and I said, hey, bro, why don't we actually donate this house and see if we can get a tax write-off on this thing? So I went to one of the local churches who actually took us up on it. It took us several months to be able to get this house moved and go through the whole entire process, but it was the exact same amount of months that it took us to get entitlements, architecture, engineering, and everything to get the permits to build it out anyways. So almost lined up perfectly where we donated the house. We got an appraisal company to come in, appraise the house on what it was worth. It was worth over $500,000. We took a $500,000 tax write-off on the donation, depreciated that down to zero. We leveled the garage, and then we still built our 6 single family dwellings on that actual lot. So ladies and gentlemen, that's why most mortgage companies will not mortgage a home unless it's on a permanent foundation. Now, there was a lot of work that had to go into it, right? This house had to be lifted. There had to be moving companies involved. It had to be cut in half, and the church landed up paying for that, but the dwelling itself got donated, and we were able to write that sucker off. So ladies and gentlemen, tiny homes, what's trendy now is affordable housing. There's a lack of over 7 million homes. And in fact, the state of California adapted building codes that allows for additional dwelling units on single family residential properties. And this is being adapted not only in California, but nationwide. So if you want to be able to go out and create more passive income through the house and residence that you already have, and you want to take advantage of it on a discounted price, you may want to look into Home Depot's tiny homes and what they're offering as far as those tiny homes and their pre-manufactured product. I think it's a great opportunity for people, but you still have to be budget-wise in regards to the land and utilities, the foundation, and some of the unexpected circumstances that most people don't consider in regards to utilities, and make sure that your tiny home is actually habitable upon construction. Do your budgets, underwrite your numbers, and make sure that they budget and make sense for you. Look for more content just like this, interesting content about real estate, investing, single family, and multifamily real estate. Click below, subscribe to our YouTube channel, pound that thumbs up button. At the end of this, I'm going to put a recommended video that talks about how to go out, buy land, build houses, and an entire 24-step process, video by video. Right after this video, click and watch the entire process of how you buy land, build houses, and you make 6-figure profits doing it. I'll see you next time.